So you finally get into Vgen. You set up your commissions after so much research and, you put work into your TOS, your art, your gallery, your references. You just set everything up perfectly. You've even made free art for others with the intent of using it as a reference for your commissions, obviously with the other people's permissions, even though, honestly, that's something that I actually think about, but that's a topic for another day. So everything's set up, except Vgen offers a shop section and you don't really know what to do with it. Today, I will give you some ideas. So hello, how are you? You know why you should set up a shop section on Vgen? It's good to have two forms of income. The higher paying ones, which tend to be more exclusive and tend to require more work put into it, and the lower ones, which are easy to produce in quantity. That's why it's good to offer commissions as your more high-end paying product, as in the price is higher, depending on what you do, of course. If it's a lot more detailed, more time-consuming work of art, or if it's simpler, that's dependent on each artist. And products which can be sold repeatedly, which tend to be cheaper. That way you have both options. Even better if you have a high, middle, and low price item to sell. Just a bit of everything for everyone. So let's say you have everything set up. If not, you can watch my Vgen tutorial I made last year. I think that's a decent place to start. If not, you can watch someone else's tutorial. There are many other artists out there that teach you how to set everything up, plus prices and everything. So let's get into it. First, for your art shop. Art packs. I'm sure you've been drawing for a good while and you've made many drawings over the few years, because that's why you are sure that you are ready to open your commissions, and that's how you got here. Countless hours of effort put into your work. So why not put that to good use? You've got everything ready already, you've put so much work into it. I tend to always organize my drawings per year anyway, so it's easy to set these yearly art packs up, which is how I like to separate these. This way your people can buy these to study your past works closely and high quality while also supporting you, which is nice. I tend to make these art packs really cheap since, it's old drawings. The price varies slightly as well depending on how much I drew each year. And I also make these a pay how much you want, because there's always someone out there who will surprise you with how much your work means to them. But the minimum price is still set to how much you initially put down. But this is just an easy way. Now, if you don't have your folders organized like I do mine, then I guess you got some organization to do before you actually do these. Or you can set these up per monthly, art packs, January of, let's say, 2025 or January 2024, and then February 2024, and you can make the price even lower. You might draw just an insane amount of stuff. You can include sketches there, you can include scrapped ideas, of course, finished drawings, and just a lot of extra stuff. One thing that I would recommend not including is, sensitive content, of all sorts. And maybe draw this in your style entries you've made, not because it's, bad, it's just the idea is not originally yours. The character might not actually be yours as well, and it's just, it's not a wrong thing to do. I think you'd have to, see a lawyer for that, because I'm not one. But, the artwork is yours. It's just, it's a little something. Second thing you can add to your art shop: brushes. Now, this one is a bigger thing, more so than just an art shop product. But please, for the love of God, my people, make your own brushes. You might ask, why? Why should I make my own brushes? What's this going to change? Other than making your work more personal, more you, just gives it more of your own essence, it just really makes your life easier overall. For example, I made a bunch of whimsical stamps because I wanted to add some different types of details in my own drawings that I needed, and got tired of drawing by hand because it gets really tiring when you have to draw each little thing repeatedly over and over again. Why do I have to draw each spiral? I can just make a little stamp for it and just use that, right? It just really makes things a lot easier. I first made a whole list of brushes I wanted to make in my sketchbook because it was easier than coming up with them on the spot. So I made a whole list. And when I started making my list, I just got a bunch of ideas and made a bunch of like cute little stamps and stuff that I would like to add to my drawings. Especially because at this point I still am, but I'm really developing my story, and I think that these brushes would help me come up with some really interesting stuff to add to that, which would make the whole thing just, other than looking more detailed, it would just help make it more personal as well, as I mentioned before. Plus, making brushes isn't that hard. Unless you're using Krita like me, then it's a bit complicated. I don't know why, but Krita just doesn't have the same brushwork as Paint Tool Sai, for example. Sai is an amazing program for its brushes, okay? Other than the actual brushes just looking really good and smooth and just very nice, and they just come out just really good. You know, it just is easier to make your own brushes there too, unless you're making stamp stuff, which actually, now that I think about it, with the recent update that Sai 2 had, I think it's easier now. I don't know, I haven't, upgraded my Sai, and I don't even know if I will upgrade Sai, because it's not really the main program that I use. I only really use it whenever I'm making some different stuff. That doesn't come to the case. But I still figured it out, making my own brushes in Krita. Just watch some tutorials and it's easy. Stamps especially are the easiest ones to make. You just draw the stamp you want, copy it, use the perfect stamp brush as a preset, add your own stamp in the paste section, or the, add from clipboard section, however it's called. Then you edit things slightly here and there to make it behave how you want it to, which is usually the hardest part, because Krita just gives you an insane amount of options and you can't really exactly figure out what each thing is, even though you read it and you think, oh, this is that, and then it isn't that, so you try it again and again and again. I don't know. At some point you will get there, and then you do that again and 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 again, just a bunch of times. Then you organize those and put them up on your shop. I also recommend you separate those into different folders on your Vgen shop. Art packs in their own folder, brush packs in their own folder, or if you don't plan on making a bunch of brush packs, I have a different organization set in mind that includes the next item. Third item, fonts. You ever make a comic, just a short little story that you were making just to make your OCs interact and whatnot? Trying to write on your pen tablet is just really annoying. Exactly. You will need to make your own font anyway, so why not make it available to others if they want it? This is a really nice and cheap option too, probably like $1 or even for free if you'd like if you just want to offer it to people, why not, right? Just go to a font making website. I used makeyourownfont.com. Then you follow the guidelines there, because it will give you like a whole little spreadsheet for you to fill in. Now try and follow the sizes inside these squares while still following your own handwriting, just so that when you're done, things aren't just so jumpy, and sort of maintain the sizes that they're supposed to have. For example, don't make the lowercase letters as big as the uppercase ones, Just try and give it some variation so that it still follows the idea, just so that it sort of keeps their place. Then you look at the finished result of how the font came out, because before it lets you download, it'll give you like a preview. Then you go back to some things that look off, then you check again, go back to fix a few things again, and when you're finally satisfied and it looks like your handwriting, download that and boom. Now if I'm not mistaken, the free version of makeyourownfont.com actually gives you a few tries to make things look right, so keep that in mind. That usually pops up on the top of the page if I'm not mistaken. I honestly just noticed that when I was sort of at the end. I realized that I had 5 or 7 more tries left, but I did a few attempts at making my font look the way it's supposed to. When you have your thing done, your own handwriting font that looks natural and is very you've got everything done. I think these are also great for comics, as mentioned before, but I also tend to use my own handwriting, well, I try to, for thumbnailing, making posters, promotional posts, whatever it is that you need that makes the thing look more like you, that you want to make it look more natural. These are really cheap too. You can make a few also different fonts. I don't know if you want to get into font making out of nowhere. Who knows, maybe you just find out your love for calligraphy out of nowhere with this. But it just like adds a nice little, you thing to your own drawings. This also requires you to then make like a nice little cover pic for its promotion and like a nice little preview that usually includes the brown fox jumped over something line, just so that, you give a little preview of each little letter, because that phrase includes every letter in the alphabet. And then to organize that, you make a little asset folder. That way you can put your brush pack and the font there together, because both of those are assets. And then next item, that will be there too. Adopt bases. Now these have been around for a good while. A bunch of artists offer these, so these are just a nice thing to have in your shop as well. Also, these will be very useful for you if you're into that. Now, these have been around for a good while. I can think back to 2019, but I'm pretty sure that I can also think back to like 2015 or 2016. But 2019 was when I started seeing that the art community was a thing, which is when I can start thinking back to like, oh, certain artist was offering these adopt bases. And as I said, these will make your life easier. Sometimes you, or others as well, will just want to get an idea down really quick for a certain character design, but then you have to draw the right figure for it. And sometimes art block is just stronger than you, and you don't have all that time to like get the right shape down and just, get everything done before you actually draw the design that you had in mind. Then you forget the actual design that you had in mind, and when you try replicating that, it just doesn't turn out how you had envisioned it in the first place. Well, why not leave everything prepared beforehand during a good art day? I made a bunch of bases, trying to do different body types that I could think of, both in my usual style and my silly chibi style. The silly chibi needs to take over the world, and I gotta give people more options for that. It's good to try and get different shapes down. It just makes drawing more fun and it brings more inclusivity. I also add both male and female versions and some androgynous ones, because sometimes you just are a person like me and you gotta give people the options. And then you draw again and 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 again. I feel like I've been here in this loop before. Funny how things go, right? And after you draw all sorts of shapes you can think of, which by the way I recommend putting down big shapes first, sort of like sculpting something just with big blobs and exaggerating those before you draw out the actual base. Then you sort those into a pack. Now I actually do these on a transparent background. Why? Well, I don't know, it just felt right. More so than having like a white background. It just gives the person who buys it the option to actually add their own background before having to remove the actual background of the drawing itself. I guess that makes sense, right? Then you sort those into a pack. Or you can separate the chibi ones from the normal ones as well if you'd like. Then you have two art packs, one's for your chibis and one's for your normal ones. You could separate those as well into their own thing, like androgynous art pack, female art pack, male art pack, chibi art pack, and if you even want to, if you're crazy like that, you can even separate the chibi ones into the gendered or non-gendered things as well. And boom! Another asset to add to your asset folder, which at this point, if you've done things, you've got like a good amount. You either have a bunch of assets or you have 3. Quick fourth idea to add to your Vgen shop: patterns. I honestly don't know how to describe this one exactly, but think about it like this, okay? Follow me along. You ever just use different patterns for your background when you're too lazy to draw an actual background? Want to make it more personal and have more options? Want to make it more you? Exactly, make your own patterns. Then you can offer those to others as well if they want to. Maybe you just get like some crazy idea for a background and someone looks at that and realizes that you have one hell of a crazy idea and wants to use it as well, and you offer it. And then they buy it. Depending on how many you end up making, this is once again a cheaper option to add to your shop. This way you have a good set of products with different price sets, lower ones and higher ones, which are your comms, again depending on each artist. Fifth idea: adopts. Of course, we couldn't forget about this one, right? Every artist, or I mean majority of them, goes down this rabbit hole because this one is just fun. This is an interesting one because it's also as ample as commissions pretty much. With commissions, as you know, the price of the drawing gets higher the more detailed some things are. Like, I don't know, you add like a bunch of details to it, background, maybe more than one character, and yada yada. Same thing with adopts. Not that you add a background and, you know, different characters, but especially if you've made your adopt bases at this point, those will help you make easier, quicker, cheaper adopts, so you already have like a low-end price adopt set. Then if you want something more special that has like a middle price point, you can make something from scratch, like other than using your adopt bases, you give like this character a completely different pose maybe. Maybe a banner is included, or a profile pic, or a reference sheet, and then you have like a good middle set. Then for the higher end ones, which I guess this could also technically be separated into its own section, so I guess maybe 6th item, VTubers? Now this could either be the crazy ones made on Live 2D, which in that case, the price goes up very high because the time put into that is insane, and oh my god, the amount of work is just crazy for those. So you will have like one hell of a high-end price point, or PNG tubers, which I love making, as you know, if you've followed me for a while. They're still on the higher price point, but less than Live 2D, and honestly very charming. For my models, I use PNG Tuber Plus as the base program. I think it's a good program that offers more options. Now, PNG tubers are supposed to be simpler, keep that in mind. You know, they're supposed to be the simpler VTubers than the ones made in Live 2D, so they're meant to be less rigged than those ones. But PNG Tuber Plus gives you just a good middle ground of rigging, so it still is like sort of very well rigged. You can pretty much make like gift tubers there. But you can also offer ones made in VTube, which is an ultra simple program that's really cute and easy. It's also great to make a cheaper option of this. If you're crazy enough, you can just offer all free options. Live 2D, full-blown crazy models, PNG Tuber Plus models that are like a good middle ground of the VTuber world, and VTube models, which are just a nice little base entry in the VTuber world. You can also offer, other than full body models, just a portrait model, especially if, I don't know, let's say like a streamer or a YouTuber, that isn't a virtual word, which is where VTuber comes from, only really uses the upper part anyways. They can just like buy a portrait if they're never going to show the legs. And then this one will also be usually a bit cheaper than the other options. And then you have all price points in there. And your shop itself also has all price points. Your shop is all organized by folders as well, which honestly, I wish that Vgen automatically set it to the separate by folder instead of doing it all just juggled. You know, but you can just go into the separated by folders section and you got everything organized. Art packs, assets, adopts. I don't know, if you want to add your own little like brush section, you have the brush pack section, you have the own, I don't know, VTuber section. You have everything separated. And then you're all set. I hope that this video gave you some ideas and that you can make your list and get straight to work, because now it's on you, because I can make it for you. So have a nice day and night, and I'll see you next time. Bye!